Yeah. Fuck you, Trump and Netanyahu. While you blow each other, well, I would imagine Netanyahu only does the blowing when he wants to. He doesn't get to this. Trump doesn't get to pick whether or not he gets the BJs from Netanyahu. Yo, TPG, we live by some bubbles, and it's easy to see by all of the trouble that continuously continues to double. When the fuck and the conspiracy is exposed to them bubbles. I can't believe this is where we're at right now. I just, and it's like people don't really get it. Even my bandmate doesn't seem to like. He's so like we're such polar opposites. Like really, like from our physical presentation to the way that we look at things, we couldn't be more opposite. And he's like, I don't watch the news. I stay out of it. I don't care. I keep my head down. And you know, I get it, but it's like, man, it sure is difficult. You know? If you took things more serious, if you saw what was going on and you saw the danger we're all in, maybe you take it more seriously. I don't know. But we should all be taking things way more seriously than we do. You know, we should all be looking at what's happening and be terrified. This isn't just a standard bully job like we always do, you know, attacking Iran. Iran is a motherfucker. Iran is going to hurt us. I don't get it, man. I don't get what, like, how can you be so brainwashed? How does anybody know what's happening and just shut their eyes to it? I don't get it. Well, I don't even get the benefit. I mean, it's one thing when it's like everyday kind of bullshit, but when it's World War III kind of shit, like this is terrifying. Come on, dummy. Come on, dummy. Come on, dummy. Okay, you're gonna miss out. All right, come on. OCD dog. OCD dog. Come on. Come on, stupid. Tell me, yes. I should get better internet, right? Because, you know, T-Mobile isn't like the biggest cellular company in the country. I should just get some better internet. Let me just hook up the modem. I mean, it's funny how we all know, like, the system censors those people that don't go with the program. We all know they fuck with us, they do all this shit, but then when it comes to putting it into practicality, you go, oh no, that's not what's happening. It's the internet. The internet's bad. In the suburbs of Detroit, surrounded by cell phone towers where it's completely flat, the internet's bad. Think about how crazy that is. Think about the stupidity it takes to insist that that's the narrative. They have us stupid, and people get mad at me when I say you're stupid, but it's like you're not mad enough to change it. You know, you get mad because I say you're stupid, but you don't even hear what's being said. you might be a smart person. You might be someone that I can hand a puzzle to and you'll figure it out, or you might be able to regurgitate a whole bunch of shit. But you don't realize, like, you're stupid. They've made you stupid. If what you regurgitate is stupidity, you walk around talking about how unicorn poop is the key to salvation. What's up, Zero? You walk around talking about how unicorn poop is the key to salvation. It wouldn't matter what your test scores are. If that's what your narrative is, you sound stupid. I know a lot of esoteric concepts and can do all the puzzles. Well, that sounds like arrogance and distraction to me. It's weird because the people that go down this esoteric path, you go down this spiritual path, like, you don't realize it's just another distraction. It doesn't matter, like, if you're somebody that goes down that other side, you're not thinking that you only know what they want you to know. You only know what information they allow us to have. If there is some sort of secret or some sort of process or whatever, like the whole the alchemy thing. We all know about alchemy. We know it existed. We know it was like the main science for a long time. And the claims are just outrageous what they could do. That thing that goes, that B, from A to C, the B, they keep that from us. And until we, Goyim, unify and overthrow the bad guys that control the system, then it won't matter what you focus on. Hey, you tell me what you are doing right now. You need to be told? Yes, I should be mowing the lawn because it wasn't mowed the other day. Like, this is what I'm saying. Can you imagine how strange it is? Like that people will watch me day after day, week after week, month after month, for hours at a time every day, and spend that time telling me I should stop doing it. You know how stupid that is? And it's the same dumb profiles, same dumb statements, and the same, said the same dumb way. And you just think, like, what is your motivation? Right? What could possibly motivate people to tell other people not to do what they do? Is that what you do all day? Once I get off of here, you just go find other feeds and be like, hey, you shouldn't be talking about these video games. Hey, you shouldn't be talking about science. Hey, you shouldn't be talking about this stuff because I'm stupid and I don't know what you're saying. So, like, is that what people do? I don't know. I never do shit like that, and I really don't see it anywhere. I look at the videos that I watch, and I look at the comments, and I try to see if what I experience is unique or commonplace, and I never see anything like this. And you have to ask, what motivates people? You're going to go to the page where the guy insists that we kill pedophiles and cut off the cult and eliminate the cult that controls the world. And you don't think that's something worth talking about? Like, who's motivated in that way? Who's motivated to tell the guy that thinks we should kill pedos to stop talking about it? Other than pedos, who's going to say that shit? Isaac, what's happening? Brightmore guy, yo, what's up? Fucking hot here today, isn't it, boy? Jesus. And the other thing is, so many of these fucking dumb profiles, they've been here for a long enough period of time that I'm right. Like, it's not like you can say, oh, I was watching you all those months ago and you said this was going to happen and it didn't. You're wrong. You don't know. You don't know what's going on. Sounds like something. Yep, that sounds like what pedos say. You see that all the time. Just desperate, stupid shit. doesn't deny that they're a pedo, but tries to push it on me or say some other dumb shit. It's just not how it works. Nobody's gonna make them like screw themselves over to focus on something that they that they do. If I sat here and was like, musicians need to be killed, that wouldn't make any sense. But you have to look at what's going on, right? Like, if you want to talk about submarines because you're stupid, go to the first 9 parts, right? Because you have to think about, like, I'm talking about killing pedos, I'm talking about exposing the cult, the World War III, all the shit that's going on, and you go, but I want to talk about submarines, but I don't understand what titles mean. It's really interesting how that works, you know? Go watch the first 9 parts. I've been asking people for since I made them, just debunk it, you know? Go watch the first 9 parts, and as you're watching, anything that I say that's wrong, you just tell me what I'm wrong about. I'll get it, the comments pop up. But they never seem to be, you know, they're always such cowards that they just want to do it this way. And it wouldn't even matter if I start laying out the reasons why submarines aren't real. They're not going to address any of it. They never do. Just like none of them will make a video proving they're real. Okay? How come nobody makes videos proving to be real people? How come everybody facilitates the belief that it's just more and more bad guy land trolls? It's interesting. It's like, again, people don't understand titles. So submarines aren't real, part this. Trumpanzes in this case. Meaning clearly the title of the thing is this, and then part is the subject. Unless, I mean, I guess unless you have such a hard time, figuring things out like that. Like I say, do you go to like the Smashing Pumpkins concert and be upset that it's a band playing music and not just some guys up on stage smashing pumpkins? Is that what you think? Well, your title is called the Smashing Pumpkins, so what the hell, man? I don't see any pumpkins on stage. Oh yes. Yep. Again, go watch the first 9 parts. I pretty substantially debunk it, undeniably, and maybe that's why people are so scared to go watch the first 9 parts. But just the simple idea of the weight of the water. If you think that we can account for the weight of billions of pounds of water, you're not really thinking. And the history behind it is so fascinating. And the thing is, none of you know it. None of you know it. People will say, oh, the first submarine was, the Confederacy had the first submarine. Well, no, they didn't. And maybe that's because that just fits your narrative. Because if you honestly thought that the way that they tell us, the way the narrative is told, is that the first submarine was invented in 1620, well, that just completely destroys your whole concept of what the past was and what reality was. Isn't it interesting how within 15 minutes, I have all these experts and engineers and all this shit on here to desperately try talking about submarines. Yet, when it comes to the Iran situation, the bad guy situation, the cult, all these real life things that actually affect you, like my belief of submarines doesn't really affect you at all. But what's actually happening right now, none of them seem to be able to talk about it. None of them have any sort of perspective on what we should do with the pedos and how we should kill them. Like, think about how stupid this is. Why would anyone be upset with the person saying we should kill pedos? Other than because you're a pedo, obviously. But it just doesn't make any sense. It really is, like, it's very telling, you know? It's not like people are gonna come in here and be like, yeah, I'm a pedo, I love fucking with kids. Nobody's gonna say that. They're gonna out themselves and they'll just get roasted. But when they don't say anything negative about it and they keep trying to get me to stop talking about it, you know, again, they're not gonna come out and tell you, so you have to read between the lines. You know, we've been doing some fascinating work in the last few days. You ask a typical Trumpanzee, why do they support Trump? And they have nothing to say. It's the weirdest shit. It's like the pull cord. Why do you support Trump? MAGA, MAGA, MAGA 2028. You're like, yeah, okay, sure. Why? What has he done that we should change the laws and you know, he should get an unprecedented third term and shit? Like, what would be the motivation behind that? 2028. It's fucking silly. It's fucking silly. You would think, like, if people are going to get behind something and you know, this represents me and I'm supportive of this, you would think they would have more to say. You would think they would be able to make any sort of points, but they never seem to. The racism is the motivation. What racism? If you're talking about the bad guys, they're not a race, so can't be racism. But if you're talking about Trumpanzees, yes, racism is their main motivation. They are racist. There's no other way around it. If they claim to be, you know, America first and blah, 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 it's like, based on what? What makes you think Trump is America first? We're in a fucking war right now. Trump and his MAGA. Yeah, it is. It's racism. It's racism, it's sexism, and it's homophobia. It's all of the bad things that make us exist. Like, it's so funny how Trump was, before the election, was all about God and, like, really pushing the Christianity sort of narrative. And then since, he's just been like, nope. And clearly Elon was right. Right? I mean, I just don't Elon was the guy. He was, you know, you Trumpanzees were all about Elon Musk until he exposed your piece of shit for what a piece of shit he is. And suddenly he's not a good guy anymore. He's not that guy anymore. He's not as smart as he's supposed to be and all this other shit. Don't you think it's strange that Elon said Trump is on the fucking list? That's why we don't get him. And like a week and a half, 2 weeks later, we're bombing a country that didn't do anything to us at the behest of another country who completely controls us, and you guys just don't want to talk about it? Like, it's such a strange thing to be witnessing. You know, it's not like you're hearing about how crazy things were and, you know, the bullshit narrative, the Stalin, the Hitler, the bullshit narratives that we've been given. It's not like you're just reading it and kind of astounded, like, wow, I can't believe this. And I wonder what the deeper parts are. This is literally happening in front of you. Didn't do anything to us, tells us everything you know about politics, laughing my fucking ass off. Can you imagine somebody sitting there? Okay, so instead of you saying dumb shit, why don't you say what Iran did? How did Iran do anything to us? Okay? Think about how stupid this is. He's doing a lot better off in life than you, mate. Well, yeah, when you're one of the child fuckers and you lick Netanyahu's ass, and of course you're going to get to that position if you're willing to do whatever it takes to get to that position. If you're willing to ignore things, well, then yeah, of course. I mean, do you not know anything about Katie Johnson? Do you not understand the Katie Johnson thing? It's really well documented. It's why there was COVID. We got COVID to cover up for the Trump stuff, the Trump Epstein stuff. You just like, it's not even a question at this point. And now to have the next round where we're going to war because, Elon said it in the summertime. If Elon would have said it in the fall, then maybe we would have had Sears right away. They would have given us Sears. Sears is coming in the fall. SEERS. But like it's like how does is anybody talking about Elon anymore? I'm quitting weed. I don't want to turn out like this guy. Yeah, you definitely don't want to be a guy who knows things. You definitely don't want to be a guy who's intelligent and who reads. You want to be like one of these dumb trolls who says dumb nonsense. I mean, it's it really is embarrassing how stupid everyone is. It's their plan is working perfectly. Let's see. I want to look up Elon. Let's see what kind of news story is coming out about Elon. Is the car that explains everything about America right now? Elon Musk only wishes... Forget the Cybertruck. So we're going to talk about Elon Musk's car bullshit, the genius myth, or why it's wrong to lionize the likes of Elon Musk. Financial Times. Financial Times is telling us to avoid Elon Musk, huh? Whatever. Musk launches Tesla robo-taxi service in Austin with a $420 flat fee for customers. It's $420, huh? Robot taxi. Elon Musk raises eyebrows with bold plan to rewrite the internet. Musk wants...
Apologized to Trump for saying things, posting things, and he shouldn't.
Didn't say because I was wrong and just that he shouldn't have posted it. Gotcha.
He did a post on Twitter apologizing. You'll be able to find it easily.
Musk vows to overhaul his AI that keeps embarrassing him. Far too much garbage. The bureaucrat and the billionaire inside Dodge's chaotic takeover of Social Security a week ago. 2 weeks ago, inside the battles that shattered Trump and Musk's alliance. So this is the best, this is all we get. Tehran warns Iranians don't install Elon Musk's Starlink internet. Huh? What's up, Super Dank? Nice face. Train tracks. Train tracks. Enjoy those naked teeth. It all changes today. What to expect? Elon Musk says he's done with politics, warns about a tsunami of AI. Huh?
Maybe in honor of my last day of my teeth, maybe I can play a little early.
No. A tsunami of AI. So now this is where we're going. Elon Musk says he's washing his hands of politics. Boy, that must be nice. So just like so many other trumpanzee, agents in the whole system, he's just gonna drop out 6-8 months in. Spent billions of dollars to get this man elected, got this great position, blah, blah, blah. Then there's the rift. Then he says, Trump is in the Epstein files. That's why it hasn't been released. And now he's just washing his hands of politics. Interesting how that works. The founder of SpaceX touched on a number of subjects from his early days as an entrepreneur to the future of artificial intelligence, to his detour as a political influencer and part of the current administration, referring to his work with Dodge as an interesting side quest, as side quests go. Fixing the government is kind of like a beach, kind of like the beach is dirty. If there's some needles and feces and like trash, you want to clean it up. You want to clean up the beach. But then there's also this 1,000-foot wall of water, which is a tsunami of AI. And how much does cleaning the beach really matter if you've got a 1,000-foot tsunami about to hit? Not much. It's just noise. Wow. That's a pretty fucked up thing to say. What do you think about Putin helping Iran? Do you think Putin will just help them with weapons, or do you think Russia will attack the USA? I mean, I don't buy the idea that if Putin attacks the US, it's because that's what he's told to do. All those people that think Putin is not one of the, on the payroll, you're just foolish. I mean, there's the one picture of Trump or of Bush and Putin walking together, and they're both in the Mason robes, the Freemason robes. There's this one story that doesn't get told, but at some point, Putin disappears for like 2 months, 3 months. Nobody sees him. And to think that such a high, a high-ranking, high-positioned figure could be unseen for 2-3 months, it doesn't make sense. And you have to wonder, where did he go? And why do they all have that, where they all sort of disappear for a period of time? Elon Musk, Epstein. Let's see if I put in Epstein, if it'll give me more information. Fact check. Debunking alleged photo of Trump on Epstein's jet with underage girls. Oh, they're going to debunk it. Let's see. It's fake. The photo shared online depicts used underage girls. An image purporting to be an authentic photo of U.S. President Donald Trump aboard a plane accompanied by 5 young women circulated online extensively in June of 2025. The alleged photo was shared widely across social media platforms. Some users sharing the photo pondered if the airplane featured in the image belonged to the sex accuser Jeffrey Epstein, who is now deceased. Many others spreading the photo online alleged the women present were underage. That's a really great fake photo. However they managed to pull that one off, that's pretty great. The image shared online purporting to show Donald Trump alongside underage girls allegedly on Epstein's private jet is fake. While there are authentic images of Trump alongside Epstein, plenty of false images are spread widely on the internet, including other fake photos of Trump with underage girls. Yeah, but even if this is fake, there's plenty of real ones. His association with Epstein is undeniable. And the one part that always seems to get overlooked is that he covered up his death. Not just his death, but the whole investigation and everything. Because they absolutely told us that when they raided the Epstein residences, they found each one of them had a control room with the most advanced tech possible, the most advanced surveillance tech possible, which has the bad guy land fingerprint all over it. They found these rooms were wired to every area of the house. There wasn't an area in the house that was outside of video and audio recording. The video and audio recording capabilities of this room. And in each one of these rooms, they found a safe. In each one of the safes, they found flash drives and VHS tapes and DVDs and whatever other fucking media storage mediums you could find that had the name of the famous person on it, the name of the victim, and how old they were. And they found it. They admitted that they found all these tapes. Well, where the fuck are the tapes? Whether you want to say it has to do with national security or whatever, I mean, of course it does. We should absolutely know the Lindsey Grahams of the world are what they do. Lindsey Graham is such a piece of shit. Israel. He says Israel. I support Israel. What the fuck are you? What is Israel? He's so fucking good old dandy Lindsey Graham. Hi. The specific image in question has been shared online since at least 2023. It appeared in posts on meme websites, blah, blah, blah. In January 24, Hollywood actor Mark Ruffalo even apologized for sharing. Even Mark Ruffalo apologized? Oh, wow. Sharing fake images of Trump with underage girls, including the one in question. Sorry, folks. Apparently, these images are AI fakes. The fact Trump was on Epstein's plane and what Epstein was up to is not. Really interesting. Elon Musk deletes Jeffrey Epstein tweet following major public spat with Donald Trump. This is MSN. Ooh, MSN. Elon Musk has deleted tweets alleging Donald Trump was named in the Jeffrey Epstein files following an explosive public row between the two former allies over the president's spending legislation. Yeah, I'm sure that's the only reason. Yeah. Isn't it funny how, look at the comments, right? So we have nothing but just dumb, 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 dumb. Not anybody actually addressing what's being said. And then they cry because I don't read their comments. Why isn't he paying attention to me? I'm saying dumb shit and I want to hear him read my dumb shit. Why isn't he listening? It's fucking silly. You don't think Biden was especially if he had little girls? I mean, it's interesting to me how, you know, creepy Joe Biden thing came from the fact that there was this photo op where this younger girl was standing in front of him and he smelled her hair and got a smile on his face. Now, granted, it's kind of weird. But I can only imagine, you know, you smell her hair, it smells like the shampoo your daughter used to use or your granddaughter. It's a memory. It makes you smile. When you look at those who would, and you always have the trumpanzes, right, who can't answer for anything Trump. So they always start talking about Biden. Well, what about Biden? Well, what about Biden? Yeah, sure, okay. Biden is the Democratic smooth things over president. They do that every, you know, they do that every time they let a Republican come in and they just fuck things up. Then they bring in a Democrat to smooth things out. You know, it's how it works. But when you compare all of the sketchy, creepy, fucking weird shit that Trump has done compared to what Biden has done, it's not even close. Is it wrong to be more attracted to your daughter than your wife? Yeah. If she wasn't my daughter, I'd date her. You know, this guy was associated with Epstein, and when you say associated with Epstein, it sort of downplays it. Epstein, Stephanopoulos, and Trump were known as the three amigos or the three musketeers in the New York nightlife scene for like 15 years. They were best buddies. They did everything together. They were at all the parties together. Like it's just fucking insane. And then the fact that there has been so many accusations and charges actually filed against Trump. That the only reason why the lawsuits ever get dropped is because of some technical error, or because the girl quits because she's being harassed and threatened so much that she bows out. Her family is being harassed and threatened. I mean, just look at what's done to me for talking about it, right? MAGA doesn't want to talk about Katie Johnson on the boat outside the Statue of Liberty in 1996. MAGA doesn't want to talk about anything like that, these dumb maggots. Which, if you're defending the pedophile, then immediately I'm going to assume you're a pedophile. And I think people are, we're so brainwashed into thinking we're not supposed to say that about people. But the reality is the pedophile situation is so much worse than people realize. You think it's just this quirky thing that some disgusting people here and there do. It's absolutely not. The pedophile images being like among the top images traded on the internet should tell you something. That's not just a few people here and there. Any one of you can just go look at up your registry in the neighborhood you live in, and you're going to find several people who were caught. But I really think you have to look at the pedophile hunters and think about how many pedophile hunters exist on YouTube alone. There are multiple other platforms and websites and whatnot, media networks that they also exist on, or they don't exist on YouTube because of all the regulations and shit, but they exist in other places. DAP used to be one of my favorite channels on here, Dads Against Predators, but they left because of all the YouTube restrictions and because they beat the shit out of the pedophiles, which is just fantastic. I don't know if you've seen this or not, but these videos where they beat these people up are just awesome. Just fucking awesome. But the idea that every single one of these pedophile hunters can catch as many people as they want to. If they want to catch people every day without having to drive hours and hours and hours, they can catch them within their own neighborhoods every day if that's what they want to do. And again, that's just the piece of shit that is so driven, so fucking psychotic that they'll actually go show up at a place, knowing the risks involved. Knowing that you could show up and it could be somebody just trying to beat your ass, or it could be the police, and you still are willing to show up and violate a child. You have a compulsion there that's beyond anything I can agree on, or I can relate to. But when you understand that the one that gets caught is just literally 1% of the people that try to reach out. These people post their pictures or their ads or whatever on whatever platform they do, and it's like ding, 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 ding. Hey, what's going on? Hey, what's up? Hey, how you doing? It's amazing how many fucking people there are in that world. And when you understand that, it could be as much as 1 in 4 people. It's really disgusting how much imagery exists, how many videos of babies and shit getting raped by adults. I just don't, how do you, just the logistics of it alone blow my mind. But to think anybody would want to see that, even from a curiosity standpoint, to think that you would watch that because you just want to know, that's something I can't relate to even a little bit. And yet this shit is fucking everywhere online. Everywhere. The whole porn industry is weird. I don't even like watching porn anymore because it's just so, the only thing I'll watch is amateur stuff. And even then, it's so not what sex is. You know, you can have great sex, you can have rough sex, you can have whatever kind of sex you want, but the shit that you see on porn is just so fake and so, you know, like ugly. It's ugly. But that's adults. You know, that's adults. That's porn. We're not talking about porn. We're talking about child exploitation materials. And when you think about like how many powerful, because Trump likes to say that the reason there's all these accusations is because he's such a powerful man. Well, there are tons and tons of powerful people who don't have accusations against them. They definitely don't have accusations that were so strong that charges were filed. Right? Like, it's fucking insane. Trump was supposed to report to an examination on March 2nd, 2020, to be physically examined so they could, you know, see if his DNA and shit matched what was still on the dress for some, I don't fucking know. And if you think about like what was happening March 2nd, 2020, they were really, really ramping up COVID. The cover-up was in full swing. I looked it up yesterday, you know, March 2nd, 2020, and it was like top 10 things that were happening that day. And they're just gearing up to do the COVID fiasco. Oh, Jesus, look at these dumb fucking comments. I don't think police do know to take up the man and catch them. Of course they don't. I mean, when you think about the fact that a guy like Gordon Flowers, like Alex Rosen, who is a chosen piece of shit, racist like just a piece of shit. But I've always said, I don't care what kind of piece of shit you are. If you're actively going after pedos, you get a pass. You're my guy. You're okay. So Alex Rosen, as much as I hate that dude, I think he's fucking brilliant in the way he operates, the way he gets these people to fucking admit to things and all that. He's just brilliant. He could easily teach a class on how to do it. But if some random kid, he's only like 20, he might look like he's fucking 50, but he's only like 20 something, young 20. He's been doing it for years, since he was a teenager. Since before he could legally drink, he was out there catching pedos. If he can do it with the, you know, basic technology that's provided to us and do such a great job, like what's stopping the system from doing it? And often they'll hide behind a lack of funding. Well, fucking A, stop giving Israel $3.8 billion a year. Flat cash, one lump sum payment every year. And that's the base. That doesn't even come close to the grants and all the other special shit that's set aside. So like every time they tell you Israel bought $16 million worth of weapons from the United States. Well, they don't. They attained, you know, $16 million worth of weapons, but they don't even have to pay for it from the lump sum cash we give them. The grants that are there pay for it. And that's just fucking insane. That is insane. So when you think like imagine, like how many of you think giving Israel, giving Israel $3.8 billion a year is better than spending $3.8 billion a year on a proper pedophile task force? You know, there's a task force, Trump has a task force to combat anti-Semitism. There's no task force to combat pedophilia. But there is one to combat anti-supremacism. Don't you think that's a strange fucking, like, priority-wise? We're more concerned with protecting the feelings of 2% of the US population, 0.183% of the world population. Their feelings are more important than outing, catching, killing these pedos? This dumbass says, I bet you would spend 3.8 billion on cigarettes. Because, you know, I clearly smoke cigarettes. Like, seriously, that dumbass thought that that was a viable argument. Like, he was like, oh, I'm going to get him. Oh, wait. How do you spell cigarettes? I got to look that up. Cigarettes. And then click enter, thinking that was going to be a good comment. That's amazing to me. It's amazing to me that people can be that stupid. You know, the people that come on here and get a job, what are you doing? Are you working? How do you know I'm not working at a different time? What does me being live right now mean how does that mean I don't work? How is that even a viable argument? We're talking about pedophiles, the system, Trump, all that. How come you guys always want to talk about me? I want to talk about the bigger picture and what's going on. And you guys want to talk about me. All these fake ass profiles want to talk about me. By the way, let's explain to people, because I think this is kind of really important that I read this to you guys on a daily basis, so you guys understand exactly what we're up against. So Team Jorge is the number one thing. Actually, so I'm going to look on Wikipedia. So let's explain this to you first. Well, we have to get our presentation down a little bit better, but understand that this is Naftali Bennett. This is the guy who was the prime minister. So in a 3-year time span, just under 4 years, bad guy land, Israel had five prime ministers. It was Netanyahu, then it was Benny Gantz, then it was Netanyahu, then it was Naftali Bennett, this is the guy I'm talking, Naftali Bennett. Then it was Yair Lapid, because Naftali Bennett in 2023, early 2023, just sort of stepped down. You know, because that's just how that works. You just the president, and you step down. The prime minister, the president is a lower position than the prime minister in Israel, and they actually have both. But he stepped down from being the prime minister with no real hoopla or anything. He stepped down, and then this guy who wasn't even this guy has been in the lexicon for decades. In the Where in the World is Osama bin Laden video, he's actually one of the people interviewed. So he's been around for a long time. His name's Yair Lapid. He just took over the prime minister's position from Naftali Bennett. Naftali Bennett just stepped down, and Yair Lapid just took over until November, when they told us to concentrate on Kanye West, while they put the most outwardly supremacist organization ever in charge of Israel. They put Netanyahu, Itmar Ben-Gvir. Itmar Ben-Gvir is just a motherfucker. Bezalel Smotrich, another just absolute horrible, horrible human being. These people they need to die immediately. They are the worst fucking people in the world. Avi Moaz, they put this coalition in charge of Israel in November of 2022, while we were all just like or November of 2022. Well, we were all concerned about what Kanye said. You guys understand, Kanye has been saying all kinds of crazy shit. Not crazy, all kinds of truthful shit. All kinds of talking about the bad guy shit. And you're not getting told to pay attention to it. The only reason any of you ever knew anything Kanye tweeted or said is because they told you to pay attention to it. You don't follow Kanye. You don't follow Kyrie Irving. You only know because that's what they told you to care about. And when they were done, when they put Netanyahu in and the hoopla sort of simmered down, they just stopped talking about Kanye. Kanye did his second interview where he did nothing but bash black people. And then he just disappeared. The story just disappeared. Everybody thought Kanye was going to kill himself and all this. No. Kanye was doing his job. Kanye was doing what he was told to do at the time he was told to do it. But Yair Lapid is a former prime minister at this point. So this is Yair Lapid. Ready?
Situation in conjunction with My Israel has arranged instruction day for wiki editors. The goal of the day is to teach people how to edit in Wikipedia, which is the #1 source of information today in the world. As a way of example, if someone searches the Gaza flotilla, we want to be there. We want to be the guys who influence what is written there, how it's written, and to ensure that it's balanced and Zionist in nature. I came here to...
Do you guys get that? Like, this is when people talk about evidence and they want you to believe something, and normally they don't have evidence. They just say, hey, I heard this, or hey, I saw. I'm literally showing you where the future prime minister of Israel is bragging about how they're at the meeting, they're at the Wikipedia, and when Wikipedia is just starting to get going strong. Wikipedia is the #1 source of information in the world. He said that they're teaching the editors how to edit stories so that they have a balanced and Zionist perspective. That if you search the Gaza flotilla, they want to be there. They want to influence what you're reading. Literally, there's no questions about this. This is them actually admitting that they control Wikipedia. So when you understand that me reading Wikipedia is me reading the best that they can put out, the thing that they put out that they want us to know. It's not like it's necessarily true, but it's the narrative they want us to know. So, Team Jorge, Jorge, Team Jorge, is the name given to an outfit of bad guy contractors specialized in the use of malign cyber activities, including hacking, sabotage, and bot farm-run social media disinformation campaigns to manipulate the outcomes of elections. Right? Oh, they're just there to influence elections. If they can influence elections, they can fuck with some dude's YouTube feed. Don't you worry about that. One of the organization's primary tools is a software package called AIMS, Advanced Impact Media Systems. The group was exposed in February, not February, February of 2023 after an award-winning undercover operation by journalists from Israel and France as part of a consortium of investigative journalists coordinated by Forbidden Stories, and it was actually a network of journalists from all over the world. The organization has been active since at least 2015 and boasts of having manipulated 33, gotta love that 33 thrown in there, 33 presidential elections worldwide, but don't worry, many of them are in Africa. Many, not all, not most, but many. Many is more than 4. And in 27 cases with successful results. Their activities were revealed following a 2022 sting operation in Tel Aviv, carried out by 3 undercover journalists who posed as prospective clients and filmed their interactions with Tal, T-A-L, Hanan, H-A-N-A-N, the group's leader and former Israel Special Forces operative, former bad guy Special Forces operative, in which he explained the inner workings of the organization. Tal Hanan, we used the pseudonym. According to Tal Hanan, the group's leader, Team Jorge has existed for more than 2 decades. and has been engaged in propaganda and disinformation activities in more than 30 countries. He's saying all these things in the video where he's trying to sell the services to the prospective clients. The prospective clients are posing as a group that wants to overthrow the sitting president of some country we don't know about or don't hear about. And they want to use these secretive tactics and shit. But he's bragging. He's like, no, look, we've been around for 20 plus years, for more than 2 decades. We've infiltrated at least 33 elections and had success in 27. We've been in 30 different countries. Like, we're really good at what we do. That's where this comes from. I'm reading you the summary that's on Wikipedia. There are multiple articles you can find about this. Team, T-E-A-M, Jorge, J-O-R-G-E. Yes, they killed Kennedy. They absolutely killed Kennedy because he was outing them. You know, again, the craziest part is, like, if all of that would have happened today with today's tech, the story would be just so much different. But the Mossad absolutely killed Kennedy. Absolutely. That's the only people that could do it and get away with it and just make it like, oh, it's just this one guy and don't worry about it. I mean, if you know anything about body language and you look at the last interview of Lee Harvey Oswald, where he's got the fresh shiner on his face because he was beaten up just before he came out, and they're asking him about what's going on. You can see it in his face. He doesn't know. He's like, I didn't know anything about the president. I just heard about this. I didn't do this. And then the whole Jacob Rubinstein that killed him, and all but admitted that he was doing it at the behest of Mossad. Later in life, before he died, suddenly he started to come out about it. You know, the fact is, you have to ask why there's not more governmental interest in investigation into this shit. Like, it's pretty well established that the Warren Commission was a sham. It was a manufactured thing to make the Goyim think that they were actually looking into shit. But the Warren Commission itself is just utter bullshit. Anyway, propaganda and disinformation activities in more than 30 countries. By the way, if you're watching, like, share, and sub. You know, help out. Don't just watch other people do it. Help out. Don't be scared of what people are going to say to you because you share something. Take 2 seconds and share this on Facebook. You know? And you can even, if you're scared of what people are going to say, then title it, "This Guy's Crazy." You know? I know they warned you with Kyrie Irving what happens if you share links. But the only way we defeat it is if you guys stand up. You know? Everybody has to stand up to the bully. And there's not a bigger bully than bad guy land. But, and you know, if you disagree with me, then share at least with people who can articulate why they disagree and not just dumb shit like, all right, let's see, meth, instead of TED Talks, it's meth. This dude said meth talks and then had to explain his joke because it didn't, he knew it wouldn't hit. Instead of TED Talks, meth talks. This is the shit I get. How come all the TDS regards have so much time to be streaming on YouTube, almost like they have no life and no job? Says the person who's watching me. Because, the Trump derangement syndrome. This is the shit that they say. So instead of addressing what I'm saying, anything I'm saying, this is the shit that they say. Your mind has been compromised. Yup. My mind has been compromised because I don't just believe that the system tells me the truth. The system that totally lies all the time and has us in a war right now that we have nothing to do with. That we haven't been attacked. Iran has done nothing to the United States, and we just bombed them. Like, if you're not noticing that 2 weeks ago Trump was exposed by Elon Musk of all, like, what? How much higher up does it have to go than Elon Musk at the time? In the position that he was in, and with the power that he had. He just frivolously said this, just joking around? He knew that there would be a tremendous backlash. And he still said it. And now here we are bombing Iran. Nobody's talking about Trump and the Epstein list. Well, the lawyer that Epstein had, that he supposedly secured 12 days before he suddenly died, which is this after his first suicide attempt? But the lawyer categorically and unequivocally denied that Trump had anything to do with it, because Epstein would have told him. Shorn or whatever his name is. Just another bad guy. It's all bad guys. Why would anybody, again, you want to talk about Trump derangement syndrome? Instead of saying stupid shit, why don't you talk about the good things Trump does? How come with all of the comments that are on here, right? Your Y-O-U-R making us dizzy. How come the Trump derangement syndrome comment people never just come on here and talk about the good things that Trump has done? You're wrong. Trump has done this. Trump has done that. Trump is, associated with this. Or how come they never say anything like that? If I'm wrong, why don't you talk about what I'm wrong about instead of actually, just saying dumb shit? Oh, you can't handle the truth. Right, that's why I'm literally reading it to you. But see, it's these kind of comments, and then they'll be like, well, we would say it, but you just won't agree with us, so why would I say it? Oh, I've said it before. You just didn't read it. Like, they'll say all these dumb shits, but they won't actually say, they won't make any reasonable points. That's where you are wrong. Yep, that's where. Which thing again? Which thing? I'd love to hear these good things. Smoking pot, man, that is, in this society in 2025, even though it's legal, oh man, that's such a terrible thing. We're talking about it's the 50s or some shit, and I'm smoking some, oh my God, reefer madness. But that's what they focus in on, because again, it's not like they can make any reasonable arguments. Why would you guys make this so easy for me? It's like the trumpanzes, they love showing how stupid they are. It's the weirdest thing. Why don't you guys ever make it more difficult to hate you people? To someone like me, it's pretty clearly, obviously, that you're a racist, bigot, homophobic, sexist, just white piece of shit. And occasionally you're going to get a coconut or two that are Trump supporters, but for the most part, it's just dumb white people. And not one of them thinks like, you know, I'm going to show this guy's wrong, and I'm going to actually show him, you know, I'm going to comment the good shit Trump has done. And they make it just so easy. Look at the comments. Yep. You have Trump derangement, bro on meth too. This is a really intelligent person, obviously. Obviously. The funny part is, if I'm on meth and I'm so compromised, how come again, it's not easier for you? How come you don't just destroy me because I'm so clearly compromised by all the meth? Seems weird. You know, the day I lose an argument to a drunk person is a sad day. The day I lose an argument to a meth addict is a sad day. But even then, I guess arguing with a meth addict is sort of your fault. So if I'm on meth and I'm so compromised and I'm so this, oh, it's just mental illness. Oh, okay, so you like watching mental illness and then making fun of it. That's the type of person you are. Like, it's amazing. I'm trying to cover all the bases. I'm trying to remember, you know, the handful of dumb responses that I get. Anything but tell the truth. Anything but you know, sound intelligent. They just keep saying the dumbest shit possible. Anyway, Haanen says that Jorge has existed for more than 2 decades, engaged in propaganda and disinformation in more than 30 countries. However, its first documented activity dates back to 2015. Gee, what happened in 2015, 2016? That's not when the guy who said he was going to drain the swamp lost the election by 2,700,000 plus people. The 2,700,000 plus more people voted for Hillary than for Dumpster. And yet that same swamp full of bad guys, mind you, put him in office anyway. Even though he threatened that he was going to fire them all and all that shit, they put him in office. And it was the third time in modern history that the Electoral College had to step in because the people just apparently didn't vote the right way. It's the only election that you can think of where the person that gets the most votes doesn't win. But the other 2 times prior to Trump in 2016 was both times George Bush Jr. won. Every other time we've been able to vote the right way. We knew what we were doing. California wasn't deciding the vote for the entire country. Dude, if it weren't for the Electoral College, California would be deciding the vote for the stupidest things that people say. Like they're justifying the control system. Obviously, your vote doesn't matter, and they'll pick whoever they want. But you want to make it feel like, you wasting your time voting actually was for something. Remember in 2020 when we couldn't see our grandparents at the old folks' homes? We couldn't have family reunions. We weren't even supposed to go outside and cook out and shit. We were just supposed to huddle in our houses and be scared of the invisible germs. Oh, but you can go vote. Go stand in a long line with people and then go get into an enclosed area inside another enclosed area and you can vote. That's important. That's worth everything. But seeing your family and shit, that's not worth it. No. And for all of you to fall for it, like I loved how the constant commercials were like the black guys in the barbershop. Yo, dog, this president thing is whack. Well, homie, you can't be complaining if you ain't be voting, dog. Yeah, man, we need to get out there. We be needing to get out there and vote, homie. They made it as clownish and stereotypical as they possibly could. And black people make up 13% of the population. 13%. That's nothing. And then when you think about the blacks that are eligible to vote, You probably cut that number in half once you take out children and felons and, you know, whatever. And yet that's the key demographic. Although more than anything, they want to get that J vote. They want to get that chosen vote. 2% of the population, meaning only about 1% can actually vote when you take out the children and the people ineligible to vote. So it should only be about 1% of the population. That's the most important. Got to get that chosen vote for some reason. The fact that white people allow themselves to be played so easily is really sad. You know, you really are just bottom of the barrel. You're exactly who they want you to be. You are the dumb goyim. When they flat out lie to you, they flat out, you know, they say, well, you guys didn't pick the right president last time, so we just put who we wanted in anyway. But here, go out and vote again this time. You got to get out there and vote. It's the most important thing we do. It's our rights, and it's what it means to be American and all that other shit. And now those same people that fell for that aren't angry at Trump for destroying the First Amendment. The first fucking amendment, free speech, the main one. The main thing that makes you an American. You're free. You're free to think and believe and speak, and freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to assemble, freedom of press, and the freedom to redress your government, your grievances with your government. That's the First Amendment. That's the big bad boy amendment. And Trump is destroying it. And the crazy part is you don't see these First Amendment auditors out there like talking about it, which is really weird. You know? It's just, it's really amazing how stupid they have the people. Get out there and vote, even though we literally stole the election from you right in front of your face and laughed at you about it. But you should go out there and do it again. Look at how crazy this is. Their services, Team Jorge, their services have been available to government agencies, government intelligence agencies, political campaigns, and private companies that wish to covertly manipulate the public opinion. Now see, I showed you the Naftali Bennett video. Now I'm reading to you about this one single black ops bad guy land organization that was exposed and bragged about having 30,000 bot profiles at their disposal to you know, across all the platforms and whatnot. They had over 30,000 profiles back in 2022. And you know, you'll see Zuckerberg out there talking about taking down Chinese bot farms, 1,000 profiles, taking out Philippines, 800 in the Philippines. This one Israel Black Ops organization has 30,000 plus profiles. In 2022, they had 30,000 plus. And you don't think that's important? You don't think that matters? You, an American, you don't think that matters? But you don't believe me either, right? Again, I'm just making all this up. One of the organization's primary tools is a software package called Advanced Impact Media Solutions, or AIMS. Pay attention now. The software automates centralized control of thousands of fake social media profiles on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Telegram, TikTok, and others like YouTube. The group employs hacking techniques to brute force accounts of potential victims. Like, I just don't know. Okay, so I provided you the video of the future Prime Minister of Israel bragging about how they control Wikipedia, and they have taught the editors how to edit things to have a balanced and pro-Zionist perspective, according to the future Prime Minister, right? So now I'm reading you from that same Wikipedia about an investigation that shows you that just this one organization can manipulate social media in ways most of us can't even dream of. 30,000 fake profiles that'll do whatever you want them to do. Okay, so I'm showing you evidence, and then I'm backing it up with more evidence. Tal Haynen claimed that Team Jorge interfered in the 2014 Catalan independence referendum, hacked the emails of the chief of staff of Trinidad and Tobago, and leaked a document to cause a political crisis, passed false information to an ABC journalist to influence the 2012 Venezuelan presidential election against former President Hugo Chavez, ran a 2022 campaign claiming the Polisario Front had ties to Hezbollah and Iran, and another 2022 campaign defaming Ali bin Fatias al-Mari, the UN envoy for combating corruption. These are just the things he was saying to sell himself to the organization that was looking to hire him. He was bragging about what they've accomplished. You should vote for Trump in 2028 if you support pedophilia, if you support genocide, and you support the Goyim, us, being enslaved. Remember, he's a big pedophile supporter. The investigation involved journalists from a total of 30 outlets: France, Germany, Indonesia, Israel, Kenya, Spain, Tanzania, and the United States. I mean, it's just, I don't really know what else to show you guys that will wake you up. Now here, I do know I can show you this. So another part of this is called act.il. See? See, Wikipedia, there we go. Remember, this is what they want us to know. act.il was a social networking service used by supporters of Bad Guy Land to oppose online anti-Bad Guy Land content, such as the BDS movement, the Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions movement. Its activities were referred to as an online propaganda campaign and a virtual situation room of pro-Bad Guy Land experts. So I show you the prime minister, future prime minister, telling you that they edit Wikipedia the way they want it to be edited. Then I use Wikipedia, their platform, to show you how one group controls a lot of social. Just one of their black ops organizations was outed as being, this bot farm used to attack people that criticize Bad Guy Land. Now, oh shit, all right. Hang on, accidentally got rid of the page. So now I'm showing you how not just the bots, but this is how they incorporated the people into doing this. act.il directed its users to missions, quote, missions, to like, comment on, and share pro-Bad Guy Land material on social media. It also asked users to flag, report, and respond to criticisms of Bad Guy Land. Users were guided how to respond, which might entail writing a reply using the provided talking points, or sharing or upvoting an allied comment. The app also provided users with ready-made memes promoting Bad Guy Land's perspective for them to share. By completing missions, users earned points, unlocked badges, and had their scores displayed on leaderboards. So again, how, What more evidence do you need? They control social media. And they encourage their people to do exactly what the comments are doing. Instead of these, like, can you imagine the power we would have if we had, this kind of intensity, this kind of tenacity was focused at media personalities, newscasters and whatnot. And every time they went live, every time they made any sort of videos, the news station made videos, they were bombarded with comments with people demanding that they expose the human trafficking, demanding that they expose the corruption, demanding that they actually do their fucking jobs. Or at least what we think they're supposed to do. Their job is to distract us and manipulate us, which is what they do. But imagine if as many people that hated me talking about these things hated the things I'm talking about instead, and worked together to like, how many, at the very least, the fact that the newscasters were getting attacked like I do would be a story within itself. But why are, it's interesting how so many people can be motivated no matter what time of day it is, no matter how long I go live, no matter what day it is, they will be here and they will be doing everything they can to get my attention, only so they can look stupid when they get it. Like, does that even make sense to people other than this bullshit? I don't know how else you would describe it other than this bullshit. According to Plus 972, which is a Bad Guy Land website, like one of the main Bad Guy Land websites, and Plus 972 is their, not area code, but country code when you call in. Act.il was the centerpiece of a digital campaign called 4IL, for the number 4, and then IL, which is just a cool way of saying for Bad Guy Land. Announced in 2017 by Gilad Erdan, then Minister of Strategic Affairs, for the promotion of Israel and the delegitimization, it's a fun word, of the BDS movement, boycott, divestments, and sanctions. The act.il app would assign users to missions to challenge social media posts it considered to be critical of Bad Guy Land or in favor of the BDS movement. Erdan called it an iron dome of truth. act.il was a joint project of the private Bad Guy Land University, who gives a shit, and the US-based Bad Guy Land / American Council, or hyphen American Council. The Sheldon Adelson bullshit. The Maccabee Task Force, one of Sheldon Adelson's foundations, is a major funder of act.il. The organization behind act.il is staffed by former Bad Guy Land intelligence officers and has a by former intelligence officers and has a collegial relationship with Bad Guy Land and with the Bad Guy Land intelligence community. It had a close relationship with Bad Guy Land's Ministry of Strategic Affairs, which combats the BDS movement, which it views as a threat. So one of the richest, most powerful men in the country was funding foundations and an app used to attack people critical of a foreign country. American money, American intelligence officers and whatnot were working directly with Bad Guy Land intelligence officers to stop people from talking about what Bad Guy Land does. Like, how does that work for anyone? How are you like, yeah, that's cool, that's what should be happening in our government? We should be being attacked by a foreign source inside our country. Just imagine if it was Russia. I mean, you guys have all seen Countless stories, countless accusations. Russia interfered with the 2016 elections. Russia interfered. And I guess they interfered to make Trump win. I think you don't even really, like, I've never seen what this interference was. I've never seen evidence to show this interference or any sort of direct explanation of what that interference was. And even if they did, they failed because Trump lost the election by 2,700,000 people. So to think that Russia interfered with the election is just sort of a joke. But think about how much they screamed it from the rafters. They just couldn't stop telling us Russia interfered, the Russian interference, Russia. And again, it's more of an insult to you than you realize. Like, they're telling you that you probably would have been voting one way, but then Russia showed you a meme or something, and that switched your perspective. Now you're going to vote the other way for the president of the United States because of some meme or some post Russia, secretly made. Like, it's the stupidest shit. How they could interfere with the election just doesn't make sense. Now, if you look at it from the Israel perspective, AIPAC brags about having 80% of Congress works for them. 80% of Congress has had thousands and thousands of dollars given to them by AIPAC, by just AIPAC. I mean, who knows all the other organizations and shit that happen behind the scenes. But they literally brag about how they control our government. Imagine if it was Russia. Imagine if it was China bragging about how they've bought and paid for 80% of the US Congress. Like, think about all these dumbass trumpanzes. They'd be crying. I think it's so funny how you see so many of these America first, crybaby bullshit, truthers and all that, who, I think equality and equal rights, and then, but they get so mad at when gay people or trans people or non-Christians believe they should have rights too. Like, they cry about how their rights are being infringed upon because other people have rights. It's the craziest, it's such a backwards, stupid way of thinking. Like, you can't be a half-truther. You can't be a half-good guy. You either think that equality exists for everyone, or you're a piece of shit. And I'm talking about equality as far as how you're born, how you exist in ways you can't control, not choices you make, not things you can convert to. If you can convert to it, then it's a choice. And so when we're talking about, because people love to say, oh, really? Well, what about that? Well, no, I have no problem. If you're born in the cult, the bad guy land cult, the bad guy-ish cult, and you were born into this shit, and your parents and family, and you had all that fucking brainwashing, not to mention opportunity given to you, and privilege given to you, and you still are a big enough person to walk away and be like, fuck that's a cult. They do some nasty ritual bullshit, and they're the most supremacist people in the world. Then you're like a hero to me. I've never met you. I don't ever meet any ex-chosen. Funny how, as disgusting and horrible as the whole cult is, it's not bad enough for any of them to leave it. Even those that supposedly protest against bad guy land and what bad guy land is doing, they still identify as a cult member. But if any of you are like, fuck that, I agree, I'm Team Goyim, I think we're all here equally, then you're a hero. There's no need to eliminate you. Like, what the fuck? We're talking about people. It's not a race thing. It's not a you know, something that goes against who we are. You know, nobody chooses to be gay. That's fucking stupid. If you think people choose to be gay, that's because you choose not to be. You have a bunch of homosexual shit in your head that you just don't act on. So you think it's a choice because it's a choice for you. For someone like me who absolutely believes in all the gay rights you can have, I don't give a shit. Personally, I think it's gross. I think dicks are gross. Ugh, men are gross. We're disgusting, we're hairy, we're stinky. We have penises, like, we're gross. But if you like that, cool, go ahead, that's whatever, I don't care. But you can't tell me that somebody chooses to go down that road. Somebody just, well, you know, I don't really find men attractive, but maybe I'll put this dick in my mouth and we'll see how that works out. Like, no. Nobody does that shit. Nobody's thinking, you know, my life really sucks right now. People beat me up and make fun of me all the time. You know what I'm going to do? This will really help. I'll just come out as gay. That'll make me more popular. It's not how it works. I'm just going to pretend to be gay. Yeah, this is my boyfriend. Ugh. Holding the hands and kissing and shit. Ugh. Gross. And at the same time, I don't want to see fucking heterosexual couples fooling around. Some dude starts making out with his girlfriend, I'm going to be like, ew, stop that shit. I don't want to see and hear that shit. Has nothing to do with like, who it is. It's gross. Tongues and mouths and all that, that's gross. Who is privileged? White people have a tremendous amount of privilege here in the United States. But the truly privileged are the ones chosen by God. What a supremacist belief structure. Just in itself, in its foundations, its supremacy. No. We are born special. The rest of you and everything else is all our slaves. We're not racist. We're not bad guys at all. We just think that we're all superior to you and everything else, and that all of the rest of you are no different than dogs and cats and cattle. You're basically cattle. That's why we call you Goyim. Everything that isn't us is Goyim. Like, that's the most fucked up belief structure that exists. You know, it's one thing when the Muslims say that non-believers are infidels, okay, but they still open the door for you to be a believer. You know, if you don't believe their thing, you know, like if you don't think McDonald's cheeseburgers are the best cheeseburgers, McDonald's is going to get mad at you for, you know, supporting Burger King. That's just how that works. But if McDonald's was like, well, if you don't eat McDonald's cheeseburgers, you're inferior and you should be a slave, that would be a completely different thing, don't you think? And again, ask yourself the question, who the fuck is going to come on here and argue against the guy exposing that we're slaves and talking about we shouldn't be slaves anymore? We should overthrow the slave masters, the pedophiles, the genocide committers. Who the fuck is going to oppose that? It's all so fucking obvious. And I showed you guys. It's Team Jorge. It's act.il. It's what they do. There's no questioning it. It's like if you look up well poisoning, right? There's only one group of people that is consistently accused of poisoning drinking water systems throughout history. There are supposedly instances that may have happened here or there with other people, but the one group that's consistently connected to it is them. The term blood libel. where they bleed children dry and use the blood for ritual purposes. That's only associated with one group of people. And that's not how we do things. If you look at Black Lives Matter, that's a great example. When these bottom of the barrel black folk came up with this phrase that the system saw really bothered white people, because, the notion that Black Lives Matter really, really bothers white people. It's so fucking stupid to see how white people react to this. It's like if I said, hey, look, that house across the street is on fire. We should put that out. And they'd be like, dude, we should put out all the houses on fire. Yeah, sure. But that house is on fire. That house is on fire. That house matters. Let's focus. Dude, all these houses matter. What the hell? It's like the stupidest thing. I don't really think anything has proven just how racist this country is more than Black Lives Matter. A lot of the overtly racist shit you can just easily identify, and there'll be tons of white people that be, I don't like that. I don't like your Confederate flag. I don't like your swastika. They don't like that shit. But Black Lives Matter, it just showed you how insecure and, it's really weird because white people are so used to stealing black culture and taking their identity from black people that when it was something that was about black people, they wanted to be a part of it so badly, but they don't want to be a part of the negative side of things. Black Lives Matter was specifically about unarmed black men being shot by police. It was happening at an alarming rate. And there are plenty of unarmed black guys that get shot because they did something stupid, and that's on them. If you go running away from the police, they have no choice. They have to shoot you. They don't know what the hell you're going to do. Black, white, green, doesn't matter. But the black guy that was, okay, I'm reaching for my wallet, and they shoot him and shit. Like this shit was happening like crazy. And you point to your racism when you can't acknowledge that the system is rigged against black people. When you can't see how prejudice the police and all that. I mean, it's just show me all of the examples of unarmed white men getting shot on camera, doing as they're supposed to do and still getting shot for it. It doesn't exist. And people will say things like, white people are imprisoned 64% of the time when black people are only imprisoned 33% of the time, or some shit like that. Those numbers are somewhere around that. And you could say, yeah, well, that's how it's supposed to be. White people are, when you look at the population numbers, white people make up 69% of the population unless they have Hispanic in their backgrounds. Ew. Then it's only 55%. But black people make up 13% of the population. So when you have 69% or even 55% of the population being killed or imprisoned 64% of the time, well, that makes sense. But when you have 13% being killed or imprisoned, I think it's killed, 33% of the time, that's 3 times the amount of the population. That's a disparity. That doesn't make sense unless there's something else going on. And, at the same time, the way that black people have been engineered using Hollywoodism has made black people such easy, obvious targets. It really sucks. It really sucks how ignorant and foolish the system has made black people over the years. That they've MK Ultra'd black people into committing crime with the utterance of a word. You know, that's MK Ultra to the root, is that a phrase or a special, well, it's usually a phrase because you might just hear the word in everyday life, but a grouping of words that you would never hear close together. The seagull is purple and green on Sunday with 2 beaks or something like that, you know, something stupid. When you hear that, the secondary personality that you've been equipped with through the abuse that they use in MK Ultra makes you do something that you don't even know you're doing. One of the best examples of it is actually Sirhan, the guy who killed Bobby Kennedy, supposedly. He even admits, you know, clearly I did it. The only issue is the last thing I remember is I was at home cleaning my house and the phone rang. Next thing I know, I'm sitting there holding Bobby Kennedy's body with a gun and blah, blah, blah. Like, he says I don't remember. And he has a long connection to chosen government MK Ultra. He's directly connected to it. And so when you look at it like what's been done to black people who normally wouldn't be violent, you know, wouldn't do horrible shit, will suddenly do horrible shit if you just say a word to them. They've been tricked into giving up their power through the utterance of a single word. All you got to do is say a word and black people will commit crime, which benefits the chosen, because now both sides have to get lawyers, which we all know who the lawyers are. They have to deal with the judicial system, which, again, the judges, we know who the judges are. The black people go to jail or prison for the assault, and we know who owns the prisons. While the white people who got beat up or whatever have to go to the hospital, have to see doctors, and we know who the doctors are. They've created this situation that benefits them, while also, you know, benefits them outwardly, while also, you know, cushions them, because it keeps us hating each other, so we don't look at them. But it's crazy because Black Lives Matter was, again, only about police shooting unarmed black men. And when Soros and the white establishment, well, the chosen establishment, saw how white people were affected by this and how angry it made white people to utter that simple phrase, Black Lives Matter, you know, it was everywhere. You know, it wouldn't have been viral. You wouldn't have seen or heard about it if they didn't want you to see or hear about it. That's the problem that people don't understand. We only knew about it, Black Lives Matter. There were all sorts of other memes and phrases and shit that have been made over the years that didn't make it to international levels. And what's funny is the basically poor black couple or people, a group that came up with the Black Lives Matter slogan ended up making a couple $1 million off of it. And what did everybody say? They didn't say what, you know, they don't say this to white people when white people get money. They only say this to black people when black people get money. Well, what are you going to do for the community? How are you going to help the community? How are you going to take that money that you made and give it back to the people? Because aren't you black people? Aren't you all concerned? As Black Lives Matter, why aren't you giving your money to the black people? Like you know, that's this group's responsibility because they happen to come up with something that made them money. It's the dumbest shit in the world. So they're saddled with this idea of why they're not giving money to the community, because what happens with white people whenever black people do something, they just start saddling everything on them, you know. Well, what about black on black crime, and what about the black education, and what about the single mothers, and what about all this? And it's like, what are you talking about? This organization, this phrase was about police killing unarmed black men. All that other stuff is definitely stuff, but it's not this. Again, you go to McDonald's and you're like, what the fuck? Why don't you have buckets of chicken available? Jesus, I'm hungry. I wanted chicken, so I came to McDonald's. Well, we have, you know, chicken McNuggets, and we have chicken sandwiches. Yeah, but I want a big bucket of chicken like KFC has. Well, then go to KFC, sir. No, I want you to have it. And when you see that's how it's done here. That's what America, that's what white people do to, you know, anything of color, anything that they don't like, they just start saddling all the problems to it. Why aren't you talking about this? Why aren't you giving your money away? Blah, 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 blah. When it comes to blood libel, for over 1,000 years, they're the only ones that have been associated with blood libel. They don't get saddled with all these other crazy things. No, it's just a handful of things that has followed them for years, for centuries. Blood libel, they're the only ones known to do that, to bleed children, drip them dry, and then use their blood in their rituals, their matzah rituals. Bake it into their matzah, into their bread, and then use it for their rituals. They prefer Christian children. It's not like a whole bunch of other groups of people have been saddled with this. Nothing. They're the ones. They're the ones that are known for killing and bleeding children. And what? How does that work? They don't. There's no dilution of the waters by saying, oh, and there's this, and there's this, and there's this, and there's this, and it's just this one thing. And the fact that it doesn't get investigated, it just gets, you know, poo-pooed. And you're told that you, a concerned goyim, well, you don't want to be called a racist, do you? Or the equivalent of a racist. They call you an anti-supremacist. I just saw this study that said 95% of Israelis don't have any Semitic blood in them. Their bloodlines aren't Semitic, meaning they don't come from that region. Semitic is the region. The Palestinians, the Syrians, the Iranians, the Iraqis, the Lebanese, the Yemeni, even the North African, Egypt and all that shit. These are considered Semitic people. Kanye was like, black people are Semitic people, because he's right. You know, this region of the planet is Semitic. Calling Palestinians anti-Semitic is the weirdest fucking... It's just dumb. It's just fucking stupid. Notice, look at the comments. Look at the comments. Not a single fucking comment actually addresses what's being said. And they wonder why I don't read them. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. I love how people keep outing themselves. So are you saying that your job is to be here? Are you acknowledging that your job is me? Because you sure do spend a whole shit ton of time on here, and you're here every time I'm live, no matter what time of day it is, or day it is. Seems like you're doing a job. But that's what matters here. Me. You guys are so obsessed with me. You're just obsessed with me. All you talk about is me, 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 me. Desperately trying to get my attention, but you're not smart enough to actually get my attention in any sort of meaningful way, like having an intelligent discussion about what is going on right now. World War III is happening right now. And you're not smart enough to be able to have, like, you're like, I always compare it to the big kid table and the little kid table. And you're that little kid that's standing there watching two adults have a conversation, and you don't understand what they're talking about. And then suddenly somebody says something about money, and you're like, I have $11. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's great, dude. Hey, let me just finish this conversation, okay? And then I'll come talk to you on your level. Okay. But you're desperately trying to get in here somehow, but you're not smart enough to actually, you know, bring up something intelligent. And you just can't help but prove it. You love proving it. If they have planes, you don't think they have vehicles underwater too. So you think flying in the sky is the same thing as being underwater. Have you ever been underwater? Like if you go up to the second story of your house, say you're 10, 15 feet in the sky, or, up, does your head feel like it's going to implode and the pressure on your ears and all that? Is that how you feel? Because that's how you feel when you go underwater. When you go underwater, you feel pressure. Flying planes would be a shit ton easier than flying through water. But hey, again, at least you're attempting. I have to give you the attention for at least attempting to make a reasonable comment, I guess. Just have to hold pressure in order to gain buoyancy on air. Yeah, it's the same thing. When planes are flying, there are billions and billions of pounds of water, of air, pushing on them, crushing them. Yeah, that's how that works. Totally. Oh, it's so stupid. It's just so stupid. But as always, you have people that want to talk about anything other than the real narrative going on right now. They're much more concerned with my belief in submarines than they are, eliminating the pedophilia, eliminating the genocide, eliminating the control scheme that views us as goyim. No, cattle. We're just cattle. Look at how we treat cattle. Right? This is a life form that when it's young, you see a baby cow and you go, "Oh my God, that's so cute. Look at the little baby cows." But then it grows up and you're like, "Okay, I'm going to eat all of its muscles and shit. I'm going to, carve up its brain and make cheese out of it. I'm going to grind up its bones for beauty products and shit like that, or materials of any sort. I'm going to use its organs for whatever I can use the organs for, medicines and shit like that. I'm going to skin it and wear its skin around my body, or maybe, make a couch out of it or something like that. Use some seats or a briefcase or something like that." That's how you view cattle. They're a life form, you think they're cute and all, blah, 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 but when it comes down to it, use them to their fullest extent. We eat them, we wear them, we smear them on our faces, and we make our houses out of, just all kinds of crazy shit out of this life form. Oh, you like your jelly beans? You like your gummy bears? Oh, well, enjoy that gelatin, because that's boiled cow bones. That's the nasty, sticky stuff that happens when you boil cow bones. That's how we look at cattle. Now imagine that there's a group of people that look at us, at everyone else, as cattle. And then understand what's going on in the world. And it all seems to make sense. And in this crazy situation we live in where so much doesn't make sense, it just seems all so far-fetched and insane. Well, you can actually make sense out of it. It might be fucked up, but there is sense to be made. And when you see that they treat us, they think of us as cattle. I wonder if I can find that video. I doubt this is gonna pop up. It's on my Facebook page, but I can't use my Facebook page right now. kid's going, fuck it, fuck you, fuck you. I mean, there's always this video where one of the trends is to dress up like the Palestinian hostages and make fun of them, right? Black out your teeth, make a unibrow, a mustache. They're all women with unibrows and mustaches. Blacked out teeth, yeah, that's what you do, right? These are the good guys. These are what the good guys do. Dress your children up. Oh, look at the kid. That one there with the baby doll, they actually cut the head off that baby. Oh, look at this guy's like, yay, I have water, you don't. I have electricity, you don't. This is what these people do. They're just the worst fucking people in the world, man. I don't know how anybody can support this shit other than you're a psychopath. You're a piece of shit pedophile psychopath. And we all know, you know, they're not at war. It's not a war, you dumbass. A war is when equal sides are fighting each other and have equal resistance, or at least semi-equal resistance. This is a massacre. This is a genocide. One side has rocks and sticks. The other side is using warplanes and dropping bombs and all sorts of technology that we don't even understand exists. It's not a war. And especially, you know, I love the people that say, oh, just let them fight, it's their fight, blah, blah, blah. Well, that would be the case if the United States didn't give one side trillions of dollars in the last few decades and arm them to the teeth and have the memorandums of understanding and all these things that make one side a superior force compared to the other, a superior killing machine compared to the other. Like, it's just a stupid idea to think anything like that. And if you're somebody that thinks they have missiles, the Hamas has launched missiles at bad guy land. No, they haven't. The Iran stuff should show you some shit, right? The idea of the Iron Dome isn't true. The only reason you believe they have an Iron Dome is because bad guy land shoots rockets into agreed upon coordinates where other bad guy land sources shoot them down. So it looks like they have this impenetrable shield. But when they didn't shoot the rockets and they didn't know exactly where they were coming from and going to, they couldn't shoot them down. The Iranian missiles got through because the Iron Dome isn't real. And it's these kinds of things that you have to understand. So whenever you see videos where bad guy land is claiming that Hamas or whoever shot rockets into their airspace, but the Iron Dome shot 99% of them down, and the 1% that they didn't, it's because it scanned that missile and knew it would fall short or wouldn't hit anything, didn't bother shooting it down. You know it's bullshit. You know, every time you've ever heard, especially the October 7th bullshit. October 7th was a complete false flag. No bad guys died. No bad guys were taken hostage. It's a false flag. It was a complete manipulation operation bullshit to facilitate what's happened since. Like, even if it was real, you know, this notion that bad guy land is the only one that has the right to defend themselves. Bad guy land had killed at least 240 civilians with their illegal nightly raid in 2023 prior to October 7th. So even if Hamas was real, which they're not, and actually attacked, they would be in full justification for doing so. Just like Iran. Iran is fully justified for firing back. Just because they tell us it's a preemptive strike doesn't mean it doesn't make it okay. Like it's the stupidity of the manipulation that's put on you is just fucking insane. Again, show how ignorant you are. Because meth users don't use pretty pipes. Just that in itself should show you. But you've also seen me smoke the big meth blunts. Let's put it this way. If I was smoking meth, I smoked all the meth, smoked the crack, I shot all the heroin, I was drinking alcohol, I beat my wife, I beat my children, I kicked my dog, I did all these horrible things. Would that discount the fact that Bad Guy Land is committing genocide right now? Does anything I do compare to what this cult is doing to the world? To World War III about to happen? So you got me. I'm smoking all the meth. Okay, that's all I'm doing is smoking meth. Now can we talk about what's actually being talked about, or are you just gonna jump to some other bullshit? Right? Like, this is how stupid you are. You honestly think that's gonna work? You must be Bad Guy Landy. You must be, because you guys are the only, bad guy-ish. You're the only people stupid enough to think these are reasonable arguments. Well, if you open up the books on Bad Guy Land, you demonize Bad Guy Land. Back in 2022, maybe it was early 2023, but the UN was about to open up the books, and because they were talking about this as clearly an occupation. This isn't the temporary settlement that you claim it is. And we're going to open up the books on Bad Guy Land and just take a look. We're going to send our inspectors in and we want to take a look at your records and stuff like that. And Bad Guy Land said, if you open up the books on Bad Guy Land, you demonize Bad Guy Land. You can't do that. How does looking at your history demonize you? I encourage anybody, if you think you can find something on me, you think you can get something, do it. Expose me. But nothing I've ever done in my life compares to, what Netanyahu and company is doing right now. Compares to all the pedophilia in Hollywood and in the government. If I was smoking, $1,000 worth of meth a day, which I would assume I would have to, because I don't know meth prices, even though I'm a big meth head. I don't know the prices of meth and shit, but I would assume with as much as I smoke, I would have to be like the meth guy, I would have to be swimming in meth. And obviously you don't know what meth does to people. So this droopy sort of slowed down, relaxed personality I have is the opposite of what meth does. You're not like, oh shit, and then we gotta go, and if you've ever seen somebody tweaking, it's a weird fucking thing, man. It is, they're listening to some music that none of us are. And the facial twitches and shit, it's just fucking strange, man. But fine. That's all I'm doing is smoking meth. Now, what about the genocide? You gonna talk about the genocide? You gonna talk about, the slavery? You gonna talk about the pedophilia? You gonna talk about any of those things? Or you still want to talk about meth? And me smoking all the meth. I'm surprised there's any meth left for anyone else, because I'm smoking it all. I didn't know they made green meth. You had to break it up, roll it in papers, and then smoke it like that. So stupid. He can drive over to your source and blah, 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 the front lobby. Yeah, that's what I should do. I should do anything but what I'm doing, because what I'm doing just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter so much that this group is determined to get me to realize it. They'll watch me every day for hours at a time just so they can tell me I don't matter. That what I'm doing doesn't matter. Can you imagine like how much actual energy is put into me? All these profiles that literally have nothing else going on in their lives, that they just sit around and watch one dude on YouTube that they supposedly hate so much that they want him to stop doing it. Can you imagine? It's hundreds of profiles at this point. Kind of like a Team Jorge sort of thing, but nah, that's not it. It really is hundreds of different people who are just so opposed to somebody thinking we should kill pedophiles and we should end this war and we should out the people that are pushing us into the war while also being the pedophiles and, you know, controlling Hollywood and the government and all that shit. But also, I don't matter enough. You'll watch me, you'll beg for my attention in the comments and all that shit. But when I say, okay, listen, just prove you're a real human and not a bot, because clearly, as we showed earlier, Team Jorge and all that stuff, there's a really good chance that all of these pro-pedophile, pro-genocide people, trumpanzes idiots, are bots. Like, I can't imagine you're actual people. So why don't you be proud of yourself? Shit, be proud of yourself and go live and make a feed that rivals mine, because apparently you're capable of doing that. But just make a quick video, make a short. I'd like it to be more than a short, because, I mean, how much could you really say in 30 seconds? Make a short video about how stupid I am, about how bad I am, about anything I'm getting wrong. Expose me. Do what I do to the system, to you pieces of shit. Do that to me. And I'll even show the video on my screen. Like, I'll play it right here. I've offered to do this now for about a year. Challenging any one of you profiles who is proud enough to be the pedophile that you are, that you'll show your identity. And not one of these pieces of shit has taken me up on it. Not one. Do you realize how insane that is? Not one of these people who supposedly opposes me, is willing to prove that they're a person just to gain like the slightest bit of credibility. At this point, they have zero credibility. And they could gain a small little piece just by proving that they're a person while bashing me, while talking shit about me. And yet none of them want to do it. Really, really interesting how that works. Nothing coming out of that plane. Nothing coming out of the plane. You know, the funniest thing is, like, they don't realize if I didn't want them here, they wouldn't be. Well, at least the profile that they're using wouldn't be. If they posed any sort of real threat to me and I couldn't handle it, I could just block them. I mean, that would be the easiest way out. Instead, I allow them to be here, to worship me as they do, to obsess over me as they do. Because they prove the point. You know, you're always saying multiple things, you know. Or even if you're not literally saying anything, you're saying something. If you're presented with a situation and it's, you know, and you don't take a side, you know, you're still taking a side. Like if somebody says, you know, what do you think about these pedophiles? And you don't say anything, well, you're letting me know that you support them. Because normal people were like, fucking kill them. We need to kill them all. Oh, well, they should get a real short prison sentence and then maybe have some therapy or something where they can meet a whole bunch of other people into the same shit. Make a bunch of connections, you know? Yeah, that'll fix it. Then we'll pray it away for them, right? We'll just pray the pedo out of them. Like, it's just the dumbest shit. And you have to wonder, like, well, I guess you don't have to, but for me, you know, they're saying a lot here. When I'm, you know, outwardly, proudly screaming my anti-Supremacism, and I, you know, flat out say I oppose all this shit, and I want to kill the pedos and end the cult and all that shit. Unless you have a specific grievance with me and you just come here to talk shit, you're telling me that you're a pedo who supports genocide. It's just common sense. It's not like it's something that people just proudly say anyway, unless you're a bad guy land and you're a bad guy and you're on a website far away from anybody that can actually do anything to you. Then they suddenly get balls. Or if they have the IDF behind them with guns, then they're always tough. Or if it's a woman, they're usually pretty tough towards women too. But when you're saying, when you're trying to change the subject, hey, who broke that lamp? What do you guys want to have for dinner? No, who broke the lamp? I don't know, I'm really hungry. You're going to automatically assume the person trying to change the subject is the one that's guilty. This is all just like basic psychology 101 kind of shit, behavior 101 kind of shit. And you just have to, you have to see this for what it is. I mean, how can you not? Please, by anybody that possibly can, make it make sense. Make all of this make sense. You explain to me how the people the people that are here day after day after day, hour after hour, who never condemn pedophilia, genocide, anything like that, and constantly tell me I need to stop talking about it, how they're anything else but part of that system. Who the fuck is gonna do that in real life? And then you'll have the ones that are, it's because this is entertaining. It's entertaining for me to call you out as being a pedo and a genocide supporter, while you continue to prove the point. You could be watching anything else in the world. You could be, doing stuff. You could be outside planting. You could be outside, with your kids. You could be outside, whatever. You could be doing anything else in the world, but you choose to be here and beg for my attention. And that's supposed to be like this negative. I'm supposed to be like, man, I must be doing something wrong. Matt, what's up? These bots being dumb is the opposite of entertaining, but I guess that they must be stupid to enjoy such pathetic act. Well, it is entertaining. To me it is. And it's really, it's what you have to go on. Because it's not like they sit here and deny being pedos and they're like, no, fuck no, I'm not a pedo genocide supporter. I'm here because you did something. Like they don't tell you why they're here. They leave it up to you to be able to figure it out. And, you can only use what you're given. When you flat out ask them, well, why are you here? What is it? What motivates you to be here? They don't tell you shit. How do you fix it? Unification. When the Goyim unify and we oust the bad guy-ish leadership that controls things, that pulls the strings, that is very pedophilic at its root. Like, I've done nothing but prove this shit to you guys repeatedly, right? I've shown you guys repeatedly. I read you the article from the Israel Hayom website, which is, you know, obviously their website. It's an article called, it's Hayom, israelhayom.com or whatever, I don't know. But they have an article called Bottom of Darkness, where it's this really in-depth investigation into the incredible sexual exploitation and ritual abuse of children in bad guy land. It's hard to read. It's so disgusting. But it's this compilation of interviews where all of these women who don't know each other, who are from different sex, not sex, like having sex, but different sects of the population, northern, southern, ultra-Orthodox, secular, blah, 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 all these different groups all have extremely similar stories. And it's all about how the ritualistic sexual abuse of children by the parents, the rabbis, the mayor, the leaders of the community all get together and do these horrible sexual, assault rituals. And just look at the one dumbass who keeps commenting. Nothing to say, not like, oh man, that's horrible, ritual sexual abuse. No, change the subject. Desperately wants me to change the subject. Who's gonna do that? Who's gonna want me to change the subject? Who's gonna want me to not talk about this horrible shit? What would you rather me talk about? Like, it's just such a crazy shit. Yeah, the best part is I don't have to, it's not up to me anymore. Thank you. It's not me trying to convince you of anything anymore. They've done a great job of proving everything I've had to say for a long time. They have absolutely proven, like, all you got to do is watch. All you have to, the only way you could still think that they're even slightly the good guys is if you haven't seen anything for the last 2 years. Here's a baby. Hi, baby, fat.
Well, woke me up this morning with his front and back paws wrapped around my leg, biting my shin.
Yep. I mean, it's really crazy. Just look at how desperate these comments are. Look how desperate these comments are. Dancing Israelis did the USS Liberty. Well, no. But they definitely had something to do with 9/11. And it's like, are you really dumb enough that you're saying that like as a joke? Same comment over and over is pretty desperate. But have you seen it now, Matt? You've been here long enough that have you seen that all the different profiles seemingly have the same speech patterns? They screw the same words up. They leave out the same commas and they say the exact same dumb fucking shit. Like they're all saying it for the first time. Have you seen how interesting that is? That it's clearly a you know, there's a central control system associated with this. Yes, I see the BS and the same people coming back with different names, etc. Yep, it's delusional. Never mind Team Jorge. Never mind the proof I provide you. Never mind Team Jorge and act.il. This is crazy. Good old crazy guy who has all of these people who are here for hours at a time, day after day, because I'm wrong. Right? Dancing is real in New Jersey, Bridgeville, 9/11 got arrested by the FBI. Failed the lie detector test. And then were shipped back to Israel, where they went on TV and bragged about it. They said that they were there to document the event. That was their purpose. So they were sent there to document the event. Well, that means they knew it was going to happen. They clearly filmed the first plane hitting. So it's strange that that video hasn't made its way out yet.
Or I'll just take you with me and you can get one from there.
Yeah. Yep, I'm seeking attention. Oh, I forgot about saying that one. Yep.
I have
Because if I was just trying to get attention, I wouldn't just sell you something that is
kind of crazy.
already acceptable. I wouldn't be a televangelist selling Jesus to willing sheep who love giving their last dollar to these rich bastards, right? If I wanted attention, why would I go against the narrative? Why would I say the unpopular things that end up getting me, this dumb negative attention? Why would I want that instead of just getting, the positive affirmation that selling Jesus would no doubt bring me? I could be if I can get these kind of numbers and this kind of attention going against the grain, imagine how rich I would be if I sold Jesus. But this is all, again, instead of addressing anything being said, we just keep coming up with all these different things, right? All these different, excuses or distractions. Just don't talk about the genocide that's taking place.
All right.
Don't talk about who's behind the genocide. Don't talk about who's controlled every aspect of society to facilitate said genocide. Don't do that stuff, okay? Yeah, man. Yeah, see, there we go.
She's going to India
The dumbass nonsense. Who? Oh, India. Nice.
You mean Indiana? Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah. Well, she's dumb. It's okay. She has good intentions. The Bible prophesies about Israel are coming to fruition. No, they're not. It's not what the Israel can't exist until after the Messiah has returned. So every time you want to bring up the Bible in Israel, you're wrong. You're just showing how dumb you are, how much you don't actually know it. But if you're going to play that card, then you have to play it for what it says. And Israel can't exist until after the Messiah. And that hasn't happened by my last check, so nope, doesn't work. I'd love to hear any prophecy. Any prophecy anybody thinks is true from the Bible, I'd love to hear it. Come on, let's hear it. Let's hear anything you have to say. Saudi Arabia, Russia, China's pledged support for Iran. I mean, it's weird because that puts us in danger, but good. Somebody, it's also weird how, now people are concerned. Now that it's Iran, people are concerned. Where were all these countries when the Palestinians have been getting genocided? Where was Iran? Where are all the Muslim countries? I mean, I know all the Muslim countries are sort of locked down by the Abraham Accords, but that's just at the top. That doesn't mean the people are locked into that. But Trump's legacy, the Abraham Accords, where he went around and offered to pay all these Arab states, Arab nations, whatever they fucking wanted, as long as they played nice with bad guy land and refused to interfere if bad guy land ever, you know, just happened to, I don't know, commit a genocide or whatever. But they all signed these Abraham Accords. And that just gets into, like, it's weird because if I talk about the Abraham Accords, it's like I know so many of you are so stupid that you just you can't actually engage in this, and it makes you embarrassed, or I don't really understand how it works. But oh, look, you need a straitjacket. Somebody said a different profile is saying the same thing, Matt. We're getting that one again. Bible prophecy about World War I. Where is it? Where is the Bible prophecy about World War I, II, and III? Give me the fucking prophecy. I've looked into that stuff and it's mind-blowing. Not sure which parts you're talking about, but the Bible prophecy about the Nile River drying up, the prophecy about the red cow with no blemishes being found, the prophecy about these. Yeah, that's not real. That's just dumb. These are just dumb. So that the Bible, the Nile one, that's not like just a cycle of something. I'm sure the Nile's dried up and filled back up many times. That's not a prophecy. You know, that's just good planning. What else did you say? The cow. Yeah, well, the Bible prophesies the red. There's never been a red cow ever found without blemishes before in this world that we've only just now been able to communicate with each other on a you know, on a regular basis, and without, you know, the lowest level of people have the ability to communicate with each other. There's never been another red cow before. And Israel, there was no Israel. It's not how that works. Israel couldn't have been rebuilt until, you know, after the prophet, after Jesus comes back, or Jesus actually comes, because he's never been here. You know, it's just funny how you know what it takes, like the stupidity, the grasping at straws Christians will do to maintain their belief. And then when you provide them with like actual factual solid evidence, they don't go with that. Like you believe in the craziest, dumbest nonsense. Remember, all of you Christians believe you're second tier in your own cult. In your own religion, you're the second tier. You're not even the best in your own belief structure. And you believe that the people, the bad guys of your Bible, the people who killed your superhero, you know, and your Christian God's only kid are now today your Christian God's favorite chosen people. And if you're not one of the chosen people, then what are you? Like, it's funny, I always ask Christians this, what are you? If you accepted yourself as being the lower tier, then what does that make you? What evidence do you have against Christianity? Everything. I don't have to have the evidence against the crazy thing. The people that are saying the crazy thing, they have to have the evidence. If you're the extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Like they're spraying our skies. Or do you believe that plane just flew up and then started flying right there? He wasn't flying over here, he just flew straight up and then started flying. This idea of how do you prove something doesn't exist? God is stupid. God doesn't exist. God is a clown. God is a pedophile. God hates people. God is a joke. No lightning bolts. Satan is just as stupid. It's all just a bunch of stupid nonsense. No, it doesn't work. Like, look at how stupid these fucking idiots are. Christians are literally the dumbest of the big three. You know, the three Abrahamic religions. Abraham, the father of the bad guy people. Oh, look, nothing coming out of that plane, and it's going right in the same spot. Let's see, does it go above or beyond, or below? It goes below. Nothing coming out of that plane. That plane is going to Detroit Metro Airport, directly south of here, about 10 miles. All the ones that leave trails go from the west to the, about 95% go from the west to the east. And what is east of here? Oh yeah, Selfridge Air Force Base. About 40, 50 miles east of here is Selfridge Air Force Base. And then on the other side of that is Canada. So they're either all these international flights or very, very rarely, less than 1% of the time do I see a chemtrail going north to south or south to north. If it was just normal shit, you'd think it'd happen more, but it doesn't. Look at how dumb these things, look at these dumbass comments. Should you understand was helping people when there were three? Yeah. It's dumb. Do you guys understand? This is another thing that I don't understand. You guys get it, right? The Bible is about Jewish people, right? Everybody in the Bible is Jewish. It's not about Christians. They actually refer to the Gentiles several times in the Bible as a separate group. All of the characters, they're all bad guys. Why don't you understand that? There's not even an argument here. You can't argue it. It's all just stupid narratives that just, they're dumb. Revelations is dumb as fuck. I think people don't get it. And I think it's done on purpose. I think most of you, like, who identify as Christian, yet you don't know the rule book. You haven't read the rule book since you were forced to read it when you were a kid, and more than likely you just sort of skim through it because you don't remember much of it. I think you do that as a self-preservation mechanism. Because I think in 2025, you're too fucking smart. The average person is too fucking smart to fall for the Bible. Look at that. That's just normal. That's just a normal thing. It just started from there to there. It's just this normal little draping. Right? And then it just turns into little plumes and then expand. That's just normal. Yeah. Prophecies, third world, bye-bye, restart, reprogramming. When? Where? I love all the people that say that shit, but then they don't know it. Anyone who talks about prophecy isn't legit an idiot. Is science about how we created the atomic bomb in the Bible? No. The Bible doesn't. The Bible has already, I always compare it to the Princess Bride. When you're reading the Bible, you're the audience member watching Columbo reading a story to Fred Savage that's manifesting into an image before you. But you're like eavesdropping on an old man telling a kid or a group of kids a story. That's what the Bible is. The Bible is talking about shit that's already happened, supposedly. And there's a verse that Bible thumpers love to just ignore, and I'll bring it up, and nobody will address it, of course, right? Because, again, most of you Christians are really, really dumb and ignorant when it comes to your own belief structure. But Matthew 24:34 flat out says, verily, when it's shortly after the Revelations narrative is revealed, and everybody's all scared, and they say, Jesus, oh, Jesus Christ, Jesus, huh. Hey, Jesus, when is all this stuff going to take place? And of course, Jesus doesn't actually give a date or anything. We've got all these magical prophecies telling you this, that, and the other, but never any time frames given or anything. But Jesus says, verily I say unto you, no one of this generation shall die until all of these events have come to pass. You get it? No one of that generation will die. So everybody from that generation has been dead for a long time. And none of that generation is going to die until after these things have already happened. You get it? Like that's why you'll never hear anybody tell you. None of the preachers ever read Matthew 24:34. It's why they do it the way they do it. It's why they don't read you the Bible page after page, start to finish. Because they know if they do that, it's going to be fucked up. No, they somehow know to jump from one thing to the other. No, they're given these sermons and shit. It's all a manufactured narrative. And you know, that's why you have to jump from this page to this page, then back to this page, and over to this page, and stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down. Oh, sit down. Go to this page, stand up, sit down. Oh, peace be with you. Oh. Because it's nonsense. It's literal bullshit. Oh. Look at all these dumb comments. Anything but talk about what's being talked about. You would think Christians, being so proud of themselves, knowing that they're telling the truth, would be, you know, would jump at the opportunity to express themselves and to tell their story. Same thing with the bad guys. Interesting how I've never had any bad guys that come in here and try to be like, hey man, you're wrong about us. We're good because of this, and we're good. Never, not once. The same Palestine that are just settlers from Syria, Palestine, the ones who only existed from 33 or 330 AD. Yeah. See, once you start talking about that kind of bullshit, it just shows how dumb you are. Like, believing that there's any sort of history, that the whole historical narrative we're given is just stupid. It's not accurate. You know, the fact is, if you believe in resets even a little bit, and you've even slightly gone into the Tartaria network or Tartaria narrative, you have to understand that your Bible is bullshit, right? It's literally bullshit. See, this is the problem with this. Is as interesting as Tartaria is, and I could probably, if I really just wanted attention, I could make a great page about Tartaria. All those Tartaria pages, they get lots of views. They get their plaque. They're allowed to get their subscribers and all that shit. The thing about talking about Tartaria is that we're not talking about genocide. And yes, Tartaria is great evidence to show you that you're being lied to, and that the historical narrative you're given isn't accurate, and that your Bible is bullshit. But there's a genocide happening right now. What about the Quran? Cool with that, right? See, this must be a trumpanzee. You start talking about Trump and they bring up Biden. Start talking about how stupid the Bible is, and they bring up the Quran. Like I believe the Quran is fucking real. I'm not dumb enough to pick left or right. Just because you're dumb enough to be given an, okay, we're going to give you a real sense of choice now, okay? You get to pick left or right. We're going to slap you with the left hand or slap you with the right hand. And you're like, damn. Well, you know what? I'm smarter than most people. How about this? Hey, what hand are you? Well, I'm left-handed, of course. Haha. All right. Well, I'm gonna pick the right hand because I think if you're left-handed, you can't slap as hard with your right hand. Haha. I'm a smart person. Instead of you thinking, hey, I'm not gonna get slapped. How about that? How about I don't want to get slapped? How about I hit you instead? You know? Like it's amazing how stupid people can be. There are thousands of fucking religions, hundreds, thousands, who knows, different belief structures in the world. But you've been convinced that there's only 3 and they come from the same source and they all say the same shit, just different characters and shit. You believe that's true. You believe that there is a God up there who loves you, yet if you don't follow the rules, will allow you to burn in hell for all of eternity. You believe in a God who is omniscient, who is everywhere at all times, who has God's plan. God has a plan for everything. And yet you believe that you can pray and change God's mind if necessary. I mean, what would be the point of prayer? If God had a plan, then it really doesn't matter if you pray about getting that job or you pray about, you know, your relative surviving cancer. If it's part of God's plan, it's part of God's plan. What the fuck you doing? But also, omniscient, all-powerful, everything, all-knowing, everything God has literally this viewpoint and closer, knows what it looks like on the inside of children being raped by clergy and does nothing about it. And you go, oh, well, that's just free will. That's just free will. Oh, so free will? There's free will and there's God's plan? You don't like that God's plan would have to include that child being raped. So that must be when free will somehow overrides God's plan. But your God is watching as that shit is happening. That child is screaming, praying, crying, wishing God, praying to God to come help. Please, God, help me, please. I don't want to, you know. And God's just like, got my popcorn. Man, that one's going to be awful. Oh, he's small. You're just okay with that because, you know, your prayers get answered. You believe the God of the universe making everything happen at all times, unless it's the devil's, you know, because there's plenty of times when, like, God must be working, looking this way, and then the devil pops up behind him, and God's like, hey, what was that? And then the devil pops up behind him to fuck with this person, and what was that? And God just keeps turning around because the devil is somehow able to do all this shit right under God's nose, and God just allows it to happen. God can dinkle, dinkle, dink anything it wants, but can't get rid of those pedos in its house of all places. Like if I say the word pedophile, and and priest isn't one of the first 5 words that comes to your head, probably the first word. If you don't admit that, you're lying. You're lying. There goes my neighbor who believes that everything, he's a big time truther. He was actually down at the Gen 6 and everything. What's up, Dookie? And he believes that all of the answers we need are in the Bible. Mind blowing. Fucking mind blowing.
Like the robotics club does all their shit right there in the museum with all the public walking by. It's really cool. No, we'll do that next year. For the
It's just insane, man.
parade tour, yeah.
It's just insane that the horrific shit that you choose to ignore because of your own selfish bullshit. Because you want to go to heaven when you die, and you think if you talk bad about what what's happening with God and God's house and His, you know, it's lackluster performance that you don't get to go to heaven. So you just keep your mouth shut. And you're just a horrible, horrible piece of shit person that I can't relate to. I can't be like, oh, I know the person across the street is raping children, but, you know, he's a priest, so I don't want to screw up my afterlife, so I'm just going to turn my back to it. Like, that's not okay. That's just not okay. Oh, look, we have another one of the same old profiles here saying dumb shit. Just literally watched me walk from upstairs down a flight of stairs and says I'm in the basement. That's how desperately stupid they are. And remember, when people are willing to say anything just to get attention, like it's something that's so easily proven wrong just by walking up and down a flight of stairs or looking out a window or whatever. It shows you that they have no credibility whatsoever. That they're willing to say whatever it takes to try to distract, try to infiltrate, whatever they can do, because they can't do anything intelligent. So they just make shit up. And they could end up saying something intelligent in the future, but it won't matter because they've already lost all credibility. There are a number of people on here, profiles on here right now, that not one of them has condemned pedophilia, genocide, any of that kind of shit. And yet they want to pretend like I'm the bad guy for talking about it. And seriously, ask them, why are they here? You guys could ask them because they don't ask my shit, right? I have the Napoleon complex. Oh, I gotta go share this one. And so of all the things they could say to me, this one just tells me that I have a Napoleon complex.
Oh, that's awesome.
Of all the things you could say, that's the one you pick?
What's a Napoleon complex then? I've never heard of it.
It's the thing where guys that are super short are like really, you know.
You're short, Dad.
Yeah.
6'3".
Yeah, I'm super short. No, it's the one where the short guys pick fights with big guys just because they feel inadequate, you know.
Yeah, that's so good.
You'll know. Trust me, you'll know. Ah, that's fucking awesome. Oh, that's what they do. Instead of addressing any of the important stuff, because again, this group is so obsessed with me that they can't talk about anything in the world. They can only talk about me. But that was fucking awesome. That was awesome. Yeah, I'm just a little guy. I'm just a teeny weeny little guy. Thing is, ask your girlfriend. Girls know how people carry themselves. Your girlfriend knows. The last thing you would want is your female to watch my shit. Because I would empower them and they they would end up falling for me like they always do. At least they used to. I'm old now, so it doesn't work as well. But you don't want your girl being empowered. Last thing you want is your girl to truly understand her equal nature in the relationship. Because you are a piece of shit. Like, real people would want that. Yes, you absolutely want that real narrative. I'm pretending like these guys have girlfriends. What am I doing? My bad. Sorry. I was making fun of you and I didn't even mean to be. We know you don't have girlfriends. I just can't believe it, man. I can't believe we're in a war right now. I mean, I knew it was happening. Oh, look. More lines have been made right above my house. They're not focusing anywhere else but right above my house. I mean, my mom's house, where I live in the basement. This is insane. This is insane. It's... I mean, there's clearly something... Like, when you look at the at least the narrative that we're given, again, not saying that I believe the narrative we're given, but there's going to be aspects of it that are true. The whole 100-year cycle thing seems to be like a favorite of the system. You know, when you look at 1909, there was a mini recession, just like there was with the 2009 housing crisis and all that bullshit instituted by Epstein. Epstein actually is who set that off. With his position at Bear Stearns, he was the one that set off the housing crisis, the 2009 recession. 2008, 2009, because the government signed it all into existence, signed the abilities and everything into existence, but it was Epstein that essentially pulled the plug. And then you look at COVID, and I mean, it was the Spanish flu, and it was 17, 18, 19, but it's a 100-year cycle. And so what sucks is the end of the 20s, and this, at least according to the narrative, not only is this something that happened in the 1900s, but also in the 1800s, where there was some real turmoil and you know, a real division where the people and the powers that be sort of clash. And then there's this time of desperation, of the depression, and then, you know, which is a result of some sort of catalyst sparks that, where it happens, whether it's on purpose or it's just how it's manipulated into being. Like, if there is a plug literally to be pulled, or if we just happen to operate on these cycles, I don't know. But there always seems to be this real crisis towards the end of the 20s of whatever century it is, and then desperation, and then prosperity. You know, the 50s and 60s, 40s, 50s, like that, America was really booming. People could work at the grocery store and be able to still send their kids to college. You know, like own a house and all that other shit. So, I don't know. I hate speculating because it's not in my control. But I absolutely predicted the genocide. You know, in April, May, June of 2023, maybe earlier, I started saying if bad guy land didn't pull off a false flag and then use that as the excuse to start the genocide against the Palestinians, by the end of 2023, by December of 2023, that I would quit. Well, the end of December of 2023. That I wouldn't make any more videos, and I would just go about my life thinking I was fucking wrong. I put everything, I put my entire reputation, as fucked up as it may be, on the line, and ended up being more right than I could have imagined. It actually happened sooner than I thought. And really, if you were to go back and look at my videos between September 29th and October 7th, I probably did tell you it's going to happen sooner than December. Because the 29th or the 30th, can't remember which one, is when they put bad guy land into the visa waiver program, making it so they could travel to and from the United States without having to go through all the typical visa bullshit. And I thought, all right, well, they're going to start flooding here, bringing as many as they can here, because they had already all pledged not to serve in whatever conflict just happened to arise, if there was some sort of conflict that happened to arise, and in protest of the judicial branch and the executive branch not playing well together, a bunch of them pledged that they wouldn't honor their reservist status, and if there was any sort of conflict that sprung up, that they wouldn't serve. That was their form of protest. In the summer of 2023, the citizens, the regular people, just happened to say, out of anything they could have said, that if some sort of thing pops up where they could be put into a dangerous situation, they refused to fight. That was the only thing that they did. They protested every week on a Saturday, every Saturday since like January. They had this festival atmosphere where, you know, there would be like rides and concession stands and bathrooms, you know, toilets brought in and shit. But these people would also stage events where they would like block off a highway and have a big bonfire in the middle of the highway. And you could see our news agencies calling them freedom fighters. Look at these freedom fighters blocking the freeways. When it's black people doing it, they're thugs. Look at these thugs, because that's the N-bomb that they're allowed to say. When black people are sick of being treated unfairly and being shot by police and all that stuff, they're just thugs. When the bad guys are upset because the judicial branch and the executive branch is arguing over something, and they block freeways and make bonfires, those are freedom fighters. It's fucking insane. It's insane. Look at the dumbass. Look at the comments. Not one of them fucking says anything about any of it. Change the topic, blah, 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 blah. Guarantee, blah, blah, blah. I mean, look at this dumb shit. It's just nothing. Yep. I haven't spent hours reading you guys the Wikipedia entries that they want us to know. Nope. I watch a lot of TV. This is how stupid they are. And they think because they have this information, that means it's true. Because they've been told whatever thing it is, that makes it's true now. It's true. Whatever version of history they choose to believe, it's true because they believe it. There's no reason. Not a single Christian has any reasonable reason to believe in what they do. There's no quantifiable anything. There's no proof of any of it. They just believe the narrative because they're told to. Same thing with bad guyism. He's the one live and gets to decide what he talks about. You don't pay him, you dumb bots. No, they're just trying to change the subject. And really, they're not even doing that. They're like, because even if I were to talk about whatever it is, they would just try to change the subject again. But the fact is, they're trying to do everything but get us, but to keep us from talking about the genocide and who's committing it and how they pull the strings and the pedophilia. Those three things are things that they just seem to never even want to address. Isn't that strange? The comment, think about the children. They're sick. They do think about the children. How they can use their blood for the rituals, and how much they enjoy killing people. Did you see that they used a bomb? They bombed a place as a gender reveal. They put a bunch of blue shit in the explosion to signify it was a boy. They bombed a building as a gender reveal party. Oh, what explanation are we talking about now? Go, if you're genuinely curious, then go watch the first 9 parts where I thoroughly debunk it. Here we go. We're just going to keep going in circles, right? They run out of shit to say, and then they just, they start repeating. It's how that works. They are the real life devil, to be honest. I mean, they do that shit. They do the worst things, and what they did was create a character to personify all of their negative shit, so that when and if they get caught, they can just be like, oh, it was the devil. And because you've been programmed to think about, oh, the devil, then that's why so many of them are able to get redemption and get lower sentences or no sentences, because they claim religious bullshit. Yep. If I was lying about something or I was wrong about something, they wouldn't say it. They wouldn't say you're lying or you're wrong. They would tell me what it is I'm lying and wrong about and how. It's just that simple. I love how these bots speak like they know everything about you. Arrogance off the charts. Well, the fact is they keep talking about me. I'm more important than anything I'm talking about, which is really kind of strange, right? Look at this. You are lying and you are wrong. Oh, YOU apostrophe RE. Super smart there, Aaron. You have to love this bullshit. You have to love this bullshit. I'm lying and I'm wrong. That doesn't even give any specifics. So I'm lying that there's a genocide happening. I'm lying that pedophilia is a problem. I'm lying about the string pullers. Yeah, I'm just lying. And instead of calling out my lies, as they are and how, in a good way, like proving that I'm wrong, calling me out, this is the best you have, over and over again. Isn't it fucking insane? Go watch the first 9 parts. Why is that such a difficult thing for people to like? It's not like it's something that can be addressed in a comment. I mean, it doesn't matter which one comment I choose, you're not going to even address what's said. You think flying planes is equivalent to flying planes underwater. Totally makes sense. You don't think there's pressure in water. And the pressure doesn't change as you ascend and descend. Like, it's just so stupid. But you're not willing to go watch the videos where it's an in-depth debunk, where hours are spent proving the point. No, you want me to just explain it instead of us talking about the genocide that's taking place. Gotta love it, right? Gotta love it. The first burger you realize burger, blah blah. Where's that come from? Oh, my parents had sex. Yeah, my parents had sex, and guess what? My grandparents had sex. I'm not arrogant enough to think that God is sitting there, the God of the universe that makes the stars move across the sky and, keeps the water on the spinning ball. How come Jesus didn't come down and be like, hey, by the way, you guys are on a great big spinning ball, and that other ball in the sky is 400 times the size of the one you're on, and you're revolving around it, not the other way around? How come Jesus didn't say those things? Jesus Christ, my eyes itch. Gee, the shit's been sprayed in the sky over my house, and suddenly my eyes itch. Yeah. I just rant. I never actually argue. Yeah, I rant. I didn't call you out for being stupid, right? Zaxel, I'm not taking any allergy meds. Are you kidding me? I'm not allergic to anything. That's not how that works. You ever seen me have eye itch problems? No, I'm not allergic to shit. I take it almost every day. My allergies are horrible. I'd change your diet and see if you still have such allergy problems. Stop eating dead animals. I can't, I don't trust these people. I'm definitely not taking something every day. They're fucking, the psychos in charge of all of it. They're poisoning us every chance they can get. They're terrified of us. And they want to keep us these stupid slaves so we can continue to operate their resorts and facilitate their entertainment and their lifestyles. That's our purpose here. Each of them is to get 2,800 Goyim slaves when the Messiah returns, or when the Messiah shows up. That's how they look at it. They can't, they're not going to cook their own fries. They're not going to fix their own cars, paint their own houses, build their own houses. They're not going to do that shit. They need us. And that's the thing that people don't realize. We think we need them, and we don't. They live extraordinary lives off of our toil. And then they try to make you feel guilty about it. They tell you that don't worry, as long as you just continue to facilitate our lives, when you die, then the real party starts. Woo-ho, you're gonna go to heaven. Oh yeah, it's lots of fun up there. Sounds boring up there, but who knows what heaven is? Sounds pretty stupid to me. Sounds like a carrot on the end of the stick, while the stick is hitting you over and over again. And you have to understand, if we weren't a Christian nation, we definitely wouldn't be supporting bad guy land and the genocide and facilitating it, and $3.8 billion a year. And we wouldn't do it. And it just, we'd be like, fuck no. We treat them like we treat every other nation. Or you would look at them like you look at every other nation. Like, fuck them. We shouldn't be helping other people. It's not a one world economy, one world system. It's time, guys. It's fucking World War III. How insane is this? I used to be jealous of the 60s and 70s when I was a kid. When I was a teenager, I always thought I was born in the wrong decade, and I wished I would have lived through the hippie movement and all that revolution that seemingly was happening. Now that I'm this age, 46, and it's 2025 and all that shit, I have access to the information I have, I realize how manufactured it all was. The hippie movement, all that shit, manufactured, MK Ultra bullshit. And I don't realize just how lucky I was to exist when that wasn't the case, because now it's just so terrifying. The idea of them instituting a draft, I mean, the protests that are being had all over the country, all over the world, against what's going on, it's way more people than you realize. And because they keep the information from you and they control the news you get, you think you're alone, or at least there's not as many of you as there is. But there seems to be part of the cycle is a great spilling of blood. Blood seems to be a big part of their rituals and shit, so it's a scary time. And until we unite as Goyim and overthrow this system that oppresses all of us, it's just gonna get worse. So go get your free download, www.the-bilderberg-group.com. It's music. And we'll ask you how much you want to pay. You can put 0 and you get it all for free. All we ask is that you share it with someone. Or you could put $1 million fulfilling dollars in there. Whatever you decide to donate is much appreciated and has been appreciated. But you don't have to. Either way, all we ask is that you share it with someone. Play it in the car with somebody else in the car. Do something. Help. I'm going to leave you a link to the most important film ever made, which is Hollywoodism. Hollywoodism is the movie they made that explains exactly how, well, not how, but explains that they somehow created Hollywood and have used it to facilitate and manufacture. At one point a woman says, you could say the American dream is the bad guy dream. Bad guy-ish dream. To facilitate an America that they want. That's how they did it. They used Hollywood to infiltrate our minds in every way, from government to history to healthcare to whatever it is. They've used Hollywood to control it. And they make the movie bragging about it. If I made the movie, it would get panned as anti-Semitism tropes, anti-Semitic tropes. You can't say those things. You can't say those things. But they say it. It's their movie, and I really, really suggest you go watch it. I'm also going to leave you a link to 2 of our newer songs. Donald Trump Hates America and COVID Sauce. Those the videos that are on Facebook. Like, share, sub here. Do something to help. Stand up, show them. Like, imagine if people were riding around everywhere, music coming out of their windows was TBG, a bunch of songs actually addressing what's going on, not just mindless nonsense. Bacardi and party, shoot, kill, bitches and hoes. N-bomb. Don't want to say it because I know, it doesn't bother me to say it, but they're just looking for the excuse, so I don't want to give it to them. So go get the free download, go check out Hollywoodism, go check out the Facebook page. Have yourself a great day, and as always, the most important thing I say, because our society doesn't allow us to kill them ourselves, and our judicial system is so fucking whack. You pedophiles do one good thing in your life, and that's kill yourself.